his name is...
It's John Bunday. It is Friday 27th September and game 34 is finished, and it is Imposter Factory on the PC. So this game is the third in the series of that started with To the Moon. It's like all pixel art, but it's kind of like a walking sim, so there's very little in the way of gameplay. And this, because it's the third in the series, I don't really want to say much, because if you ever start the series, I might be giving spoilers, so it's very difficult. It really, if that's kind of, oh, where do I even begin without spoiling? Okay, go and play To the Moon. It's about 4 hours long, and so was this game, and pretty much so was the second one. So then don't take too long. They are all about the story. The graphics are also great if you like kind of pixel art. The music is always fantastic as well. Like, for example, I was playing it last night as well, and then my neighbor popped over for whiskey. But I left the game running, and it had like a piano like song playing, and it just kept looping, and we were just listening to that while chatting and drinking whiskey at the table. So but yeah. So I will talk. Maybe I'll talk about a little bit of To the Moon, because then if you've already played that, enjoyed it, then you'll enjoy this. Otherwise, that might make you want to go and play it. So in To the Moon, you play as two doctors who work for a company which their job is to actually go and alter the memories of people who are about to die. It's a dying wish thing, like just to have something change in their past so that things turn out differently, like get rid of your regrets kind of thing. The games are, like, in my opinion, like just beautifully told. Like the guy who makes them really knows how to spin a narrative. Like I said, there's not much in the way of gameplay, so you pretty much either just use a mouse controller or arrow keys and just like walk around. I mean, the very first game did do like a puzzle element as well, like trying to mix it up a bit, which you kind of dropped because I think you got feedback saying that people didn't really like that. They prefer just enjoying the story more rather than having to do a puzzle to get past certain sections. So, but yeah, but it's something that if any of that sounds interesting, go and try To the Moon. It's going to be insanely cheap now because it was made 10 years ago. If you do decide to play the series, there are like mini episodes as well. The first two are free DLC with the first game. Then there is like a prequel mini episode for the second game, which is its own, I think its own separate, I think it's free on Steam, or maybe like £1 or something, but it's its own separate game entry on Steam. And then the third episode, which is what Imposter Syndrome is, there's also just been released the beach episode. So I haven't played that yet. I'm kind of like spacing these out because they can take a while to come out. So anyway, Imposter Syndrome, if that sounded like it might be your bag, give it a try. It is Friday 4th of October and game 35 is beaten, and it is Clock Tower on the SNES. So it's a game that's never actually been released in the West, to my knowledge. It's had like ports like PlayStation and like I think Windows 95. But on October 29th, we'll be getting a official like remaster being released. So I thought I might wait till then, but me and James Sweet Radish Gaming, wanted to play this game for one of our videos, but we wanted to do it for Halloween, so we had to play it now. So yeah. Okay, so the best way I could probably describe this game is think Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. In other words, with Nemesis, following you around a city. Imagine that kind of mechanic, but in the mansion. So, as Seven Nemesis, it is a boy wielding a large pair of scissors as you try to figure out, you know, kind of what's going on and also how to get out. So the game has 9 different endings. I took a look and I got ending E. So yeah. But for more thoughts, check out our episode. We haven't recorded it yet. James has beaten it once, but wants to get a different ending because I think he got one of the like G or H, which involves. Oh, I won't do spoilers, but he wants to go for something a bit different. Anyway, so it is Tuesday, 8th of October, and Game 36 is finished, and it is Silent Hill on the PlayStation. But John, didn't you play this last year? Well, yes, I did. And to be fair, I've played not Silent Hill, Streets of Rage multiple times on this challenge, and it's anyway. So yes, I played Silent Hill last year for the very first time, and I just kind of said how brilliant I think the game was, but I got the good ending, not the good plus, and so I kept thinking I even though I watched it on YouTube, I wanted to achieve that good plus ending. So I decided for Halloween this year that I would go back and I'll play through the game and get the good plus ending. So okay, yes, I made my life easier. I played on easy mode, even though I did normal before, but that's because I'm also still trying to do the 12 RPG challenge. Potentially, I might go and do hard mode at some point, but no, I should actually move on to Silent Hill 2. But that being said, this is a fantastic game. I know the remake, at time of recording, people have just been receiving it and started playing it. And I even did a joke at the Club 52 chat saying like, "Oh, the remake's graphics are so amazing." I did a screenshot from my playthrough of the first game. So, but yeah, in all honesty, if you've never played Silent Hill, like I'm tempted to stick in like the demo mode, like music and stuff. So, just to show like how much of a masterclass it is and like setting like the mood for a horror game, but it's brilliant. Give it a try. It is Thursday, the 17th of October, and game 37 is finished, and it is The Sojourn on the PC. So this is a first-person puzzle game. So from that sentence alone, will let you know if you'll enjoy this game or not. Um, so the game was actually recommended to me by an Iranian friend of mine who, because this game was made by an Iranian team, and I'm like, okay, I like to see different games from like different countries, so I thought I'd check it out, and I like the look of the art style. I think the art is actually quite gorgeous, to be honest. Like the way they've like crafted the world, and if you've played other Unreal Engine games, you'll probably recognize the style, as in like what the engine could produce, but the way they've used like the coloring and to represent the different locations you go through, I think are actually quite lovely. And so you were kind of experiencing like a story that has already happened, and all the puzzles are like different rooms that you go in as you're going through this, like as you're going through the story. I don't know. I don't yeah, phrase it very well, but so while you're playing the game, there's also 45 merits you can achieve as well, which is like additional challenges. They're not ones that you have to do, I think, to beat the game. Like, I'm pretty sure you can beat it, it's just you won't get 100% completion. So some of these will be their own separate challenge rooms, and others are once you defeat the main puzzle to continue the game, it will, before you leave that room, it will then expand it so that you then have to, you know, get the merit. And to be honest, I think I found those more harder than the separate challenge rooms for merits, because you've just put everything together to figure out the first puzzle, and then you're having to also modify it so that you can go and get the second bit. So sometimes if you mess it up, you have to reset everything and redo steps to get back to where you were. So, and yeah, and I spent 14 hours playing this game, and when I looked it up, I was like, oh yeah, on how long to beat, it was like 5 to 8 hours. I was like, oh yeah, it won't be too bad. That's because there are times when I'll be playing this and I'll just be like trying different things, or I'll just be sat there staring at the screen like plotting out in my head, like, oh, if I did this, it would cause this, and so forth and so forth. But this isn't Portal, as in the sense of there aren't portals. It's kind of like environmental, like they're environmental puzzles. So you've got to get from point A to point B and interact with the environment, and as you go through the game, it will layer on more mechanics, which I do think they do quite very well. So yeah, the Sojourn, which I was going to Google what that actually means, but it's pretty much a thing like a journey, is my interpretation. But yeah, give it a try. It is Monday, 4th of November, and there have been 3 games I've finished. Not today, but you'll understand why in a moment. So on Thursday, the 31st of October, I finished game number 38, which is The Train Part 2 for the Game Boy. So, actually, I can do a prop, I guess, because those who saw my 52 challenge videos last year, The Train Part 1 was included in that. And then the creator did a Kickstarter early this year, I think it was, for Part 2. So with the first game, I actually backed a physical. This year I just did a ROM of it. So I was using my original Game Boy, but via a flash cartridge. So yeah, if I remember, I'll put a link to, like, because the first game you could buy from itch.io, so maybe you can with the second one. But yeah, so the game is, okay, so those who don't know what the original was, it is a homebrew Game Boy game in which you play as a girl who's helping her granddad with a train that he has what's the word? So there was a train that serviced the island, except it then got cancelled and fell in disrepair. Her granddad decided to bring it back to life, and in the first game you helped with that and then went and did some adventures with him going from town to town. With this one, Same kind of concept, except you're going to primarily just one town, which is like a big city compared to the small ones you went to before, and meet some more people to help out with different problems. Mechanics wise, it is pretty much identical to the first game. You're just continuing the story. And if you're looking for a game that is mainly about light puzzle solving, walking around, chatting to people, and seeing the environment, then yeah, it's great for that. Don't get me wrong, like there's no like amazing graphics. There's some like stills of like some pixel art, but the graphics themselves aren't going to blow you away. But this is a passion project. This is someone who wanted to tell this kind of story, and for like just a relaxing game about going around and helping someone, you know, yeah, perfectly fine for that. So yeah, that was enjoyable considering I had been the first game to carry on that story. So not much more to say about that. Okay, and then on Saturday, the 2nd of November, game 39 was finished, and that was Mario Land DX for the Game Boy Color. So, no, that's not an official release. So, again, Game Boy, Flash cartridge. So, Nintendo haven't done a DX version of Mario Land, the original black and white Game Boy game. This is a fan ROM hack, which has been released. And so I downloaded it ages ago, but never got around to playing it. And so while on the plane coming home, I finally did that. Because I was sat next to my eldest son, and like trying to keep him occupied during the flight. I was like, oh, because we started the train part 2 on the flight out, because I probably didn't say we went to Spain for half-term week to go and stay and see my mum and stepdad. So we started the train part 2. He enjoyed just like kind of like walking around and would get me to like read out what people were saying. Because we finished part 2 during the week, and it's like, what else could I try? And then in the end, like he was kind of just happy to watch me play Mario Land. He's heard about Mario. And yeah, I haven't beaten this game for a very long time, and when I did, I think I did on an emulator, so I probably just used save states. But this time, nope, I completed it. Yeah, let me start again. Completed it properly on the Game Boy. If you've played the original, definitely give this a try, because the colour adds a new lease of life to it. I definitely did enjoy it. It just also still makes me crack up is not the right phrase, but it's just that you have a Mario game, but there's just some random sections. In other words, shooting. So in even the final boss, that level and the boss, involves going left to right, as in like auto scroll, and you're shooting stuff. It's, to me, funny that a Mario game will finish with a shmup section, but yep. So it's Mario Land. You've all probably played it. Still holds up really well. The game does quite a lot. That if you can do the platforming, then you can go to there's a second exit at the top of at the very end of the level where the exit is. There's one at the very top of the screen that you have to do a bit of platforming to get to. If you can get into there, then you have a chance of getting more lives. So this game is very generous in allowing you to get more lives to carry on. Because I did die a bunch of times to the final boss, but did eventually get there. So that's game 39, and now game 40, which again, Saturday, November 2nd, and this is Grimace's birthday on the Game Boy Color. So this is a brand new, probably for last year, I say homebrew game, but it is an officially licensed McDonald's game. Yep. If you remember, McDonald's did this thing about Grimace's birthday and had those like purple milkshakes. This is a tie-in game that they released online, and then also you could like download the Game Boy ROM. Yeah, so again, played it on this. It's not very long at all, but the first level is you like skateboarding as Grimace trying to collect milkshakes. There is also some platforming as well. It also has like a time attack option and a score mode as well. So yeah, like I say, it's not very long, not very difficult, but for an official McDonald's game in the year 2024, yeah, it's fun. So again, if I remember, I will leave a download link. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. So cool. Yeah, 3 games in one go. Till next time, catch you later.